Got it. See it. Perfect. So we're starting?
Yep.
Hey, Robert. It's great to be on this Google Hangout with you. This is actually my first Google Hangout, so I'm pretty excited. And I'm excited also to be part of AnilNOW, which is my company, and also plugging into what you've set in motion with Unlimited Profit. So I'm so excited that we can finally get to work together as with a synergistic energy and comrades. We've never done this before, so I'm so excited.
We sort of did it before, but you and I were cross-line, so and now we get to work together. So I'm so blessed to not only be a partner with Anil. Anil is not only a very, very dear friend of myself and my family. We've gone on numerous vacations together, and it's always been a blast and traveled the world together. And Anil and I, it was so cool because we got a chance to work in a company together side by side. We're always recognized, going back and forth as far as a little bit of a funly competitiveness, but we always would go back and forth. He'd be a bit above me and I'd be above him, and it was funny because Anil and I actually worked together in a company called Pro Travel Network, and we took that company from a few $100,000 a year to over $10 million a year. And so Anil has been in a professional for years, and it's one of those things when you got a credible person that knows how to build people and build a group, and you always watch them working for another company. And so me and him were actually talking before we got onto this. It's sort of like watching, for lack of a better example, it's like watching Shaquille O'Neal. So I'm apparently the bigger one. And, so I'm playing for Orlando, and you see Anil, Kobe Bryant, playing for the Lakers. And guess what? Things worked out. Now we're working together. So, I mean, it's a blast. I enjoy you. You're smart. Your wittiness. You're who you are as a person, and now as a professional, us working together. Man, I'm jacked up. So I'm glad to be your first interview here on AnilNOW.
Yeah, and I know, Robert, this is exciting for me as well because I think I've shared with you before that for quite a while I felt like a caged tiger, and I wanted to be part of something that represented who I am as a person, and it's been a dream of mine to be in a platform or be in a system where I can serve people around the world that want to succeed in business and in network marketing. This is a dream coming true for me. So thank you for what you set in motion.
Well, it actually came about. I'd like to take a lot of credit for being courageous and brave and this great risk taker. But like you and I, and that's why we decided to do this interview, to share with all of you guys sort of some of the stuff that Anil and I were talking about today, reacquainting ourselves after years. And it's amazing because for a while there, when things are not working because of drama and politics and people not having abundance thinking, they actually have a scenario where it's all lack thinking, you know what I mean? Their fear of loss. Me and Anil talked about a number of companies that we stepped into, believing that this was going to be the one where we could be who God created us to be.
Right.
Only to find out that you got cross lines, side lines, leaders, and everything, that the last thing that they really want is to uplift and edify people. They don't want people taking the sunlight off them. So share a little bit, because with me, when you and I were building that company, we took it to 10 millions in a blink of an eye, and then all of a sudden we realized that the ownership at that time didn't want the company to grow any bigger. When Anil and I can build distributorships that would make us $10 million. So I seen a thing by Steve Harvey recently, Anil, where I don't know if you've seen the video, but he was talking about, you put fleas in a jar, and they learned to not hit their head against that ceiling anymore. And he said, so even if you took it off and the fleas could jump higher, they don't want to hit their head anymore. But worse yet is they actually have baby fleas in that environment. And so those baby fleas outside the jar won't jump higher than the lid. And
Correct.
So I always feel like you and I have constantly been put in situations where the owners and the people that have already been there before us don't want to be outshined and allow us to just be who we are. And so now you and I are together, and we don't have to worry about, slamming each other down, because all you and I have ever wanted is to be treated the way we're going to treat each other. So
Correct. No, and I agree, Robert, because we've had numerous conversations, and I've shared with you privately that I quit the industry for many years because all I've ever wanted was a chance because I came to Canada with my suitcase as an immigrant and nothing. And I wanted to build my dreams, and I just wanted people to give me a chance. And I hated how I was held under by people's thumbs because I didn't want to show them up or outdo them. I just wanted to make their company millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and have them look after me in the interim. Yeah. However, here's what I learned. I threatened them with my confidence. I threatened them having a high self-worth. And what that happened and what caused them to behave the way they did is they were not really sincerely interested in the field. They were not interested in people. They just wanted to make their company hundreds of millions of dollars, and then people like us, who all we wanted to do was be treated fairly and win, we didn't get our chance to do that.
Yeah, and just like I didn't by accident use an analogy of two basketball players coming together and winning a couple of championships, because one of the things that you look at when you talk about athletics, majority of the time, the coaches, the staff, including the owners, want to win the world championship.
Correct.
They want their athletes to be the best that they can be, and they put millions of dollars of support around them 24 hours a day to allow them to be the best they can be. And me and Anil were talking about, we've been involved in, I shared with him a comment from a gentleman that's made over $80 million in this profession, Jeff Roberti. And I was basically telling him, I don't know if I like network marketing anymore. I feel sort of like, again, like Anil said, the jar above there. And of course, he brought up, he said, Robert, I think you love network marketing as a business model, as an opportunity to help other people become entrepreneurs. I just don't think that you like network marketing owners. And that's what Anil's talking about. The profession is not pushing us down.
No.
The people that own the companies are pushing us down. So It's amazing. So Anil's like me. Anil's the kind of individual that works harder on him than he did anything else. It's like when we heard from our mentors from the past, work on you harder than you've worked on anything else. And me and Anil took that to heart. So if we were learning more than everybody around us and we're practicing and mastering the mundane, then of course our skill level, our speaking level, our ability to communicate and interact with people, help them be the best they can be, is going to be above average to a person that doesn't work there that hard on themselves. And so all of a sudden we get involved in a company and we go out there and everybody is trying to hold us back, or worse yet, not even help us, help their company. Explain it, Anil, because I know that you and I have gone to a couple companies, and if they would just allow us on stage to energize the whole company, they could double in sales, and then every leader that was trying to hold us back, their income would double. So
well, remember when we were on that exotic vacation in Punta Cana, and we were on the stage getting awards, and everyone was standing and cheering and yelling our names, and then the owner was looking at us because when he came on, no one was saying his name at all. There was crickets. We had crickets, right? Yeah. And it's not that you and I have ever wanted any praise or anything of that nature. All we wanted to do was like, look, here, I'm an Olympic athlete. Let me compete. Let me do what my purpose is. My purpose is to serve. My purpose is to empower. My purpose is to teach and mentor people. Just let me do my stuff. Just get out of the way. Thank you for setting up your MLM. Now go home. We got it covered, right? Because, Robert, you and I know a network marketing company is a product and a comp plan. That's it. It's no rocket science, right?
It really isn't, and it should be a place where people can flourish and be the best they can.
Yes.
I think that someone like you, Anil, and you and I talk about this, because when I first talked about unlimited profits, it was this grandiose opportunity that what if we could create something to allow people like you and I to excel?
Yes.
Because if we're good, and Anil is one of these people that are like this, if you're good at helping someone, because Anil is not a motivational speaker. Anil is a peak performance coach. He can get someone to go into action, and when they go into action, they get results. So imagine Anil in a situation where now all of a sudden he's got a few individuals, they're getting attention, they're getting action, their check's going up, forces Anil's check to go up. And people just get upset that if they've been in the company for 20 years, then how dare Anil get in the company and all of a sudden be speaking on stage in his first 6 months? And see, that's not fair. Well, the world's not fair. So me and Anil were talking, wouldn't it be hilarious if Kobe Bryant, for instance, I'm giving Anil that stage, Anil all of a sudden gets traded to another basketball team. The very first thing that the coach doesn't do, the owner doesn't do, is, Anil, listen, you're a brand new basketball player here, so why don't you just sit the bench because you really haven't earned the right to play basketball on this team yet. Right. And Anil and I are getting to say, do you have a clue the millions that I've made? Not only the millions, but the number of people that give us credit for helping them make millions. So address that one, Anil.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've experienced that where I've been told by ownership, well, until you earn the first rank or second rank, we can't really have you on the stage because you have to show that you're following what? Your system? That's what you're telling me. You're telling me how to learn basketball all over your way, or just play basketball? Because if I played basketball well with the last team, it's a court is a court, a basketball is a basketball, a hoop's a hoop. It only comes one way.
Yeah.
Either you get me in front of people so I can serve them and help them, or you bench me. And if you bench me, I'm not a happy player. Because guess what? There are other teams scouting for me. There are other organizations that are scouting for me. And you know what? The highest bidder is going to get me. I'm sorry. So that's what I like about what you did, Robert. Because here's the thing. I did a tally recently, and I'm getting up to your numbers. I've actually helped over 10 people become millionaires that I know that are documented in a bunch of companies.
Awesome.
And I'm happy to say that a lot of that was because of you working with me along the way and teaching me some very important things. And I want to have 45 documented millionaires that I've helped. I want to have 450 documented millionaires. However, I can't do that sitting on the bench.
Right.
I can't. So I'm thankful for what you've set in motion with Unlimited Profit. So thank you again for it.
Well, you're welcome. It's funny because I recently had a conversation, Anil, where I know that you use the phrase a lot. A lot of the stuff I've heard you teach, we've learned from people that are way smarter and way wealthier than us. People always wonder, where do you get all this knowledge? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to all of a sudden decide you want to study the habits of successful people.
Correct.
So all you and I've done by looking at mentors before us and is thrive on what they've done and master what they've done.
Yes.
So again, like you talked about, it ends up being in a situation where when I first came up with this idea, you and I were working hand to hand together.
Yes.
And I remember sharing the idea with you because when you first come out with an idea, a lot of times it's opposed. If you ever read anything about the success, you give an idea to people and everybody goes, you're an idiot. That ain't gonna work. And I was talking about the new school and doing it, on internet, doing Google Hangouts right now. Here I'm in Montana and Neil's in Canada, and different time zones. And here we are. We get to share with the world on his blog, AnilNOW. And just that simple. And then all of a sudden people go, no, it's eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button. You got to do home meetings. You got to do weekly meetings. You got to do all this stuff. And I'm going like, listen, successful people don't ever have to do anything. You take the Steve Jobs of the world, and they're saying, listen, wouldn't it be cool if we could replace the computer with something you held in your hand?
Correct.
And everybody went, you're stupid. Well, he's not stupid. So first of all, it's sort of opposed, and I told Anil that one of my mentors, a billionaire named Roger Penske, said, the key to success really is simple. You look at what 98% of the people are doing based on statistics, and you do the exact opposite. And so, me and Anil went, wow, so why can't we find the people out there that know that they've worked hard on themselves? And me and Neil are partnering together with our company to basically find those people and let them shine. Push them up there, let them shine, help them build their brand, because if we do that, they're going to attract more people. If they attract more people and those people become successful, the brand makes more money, making the company more money.
I agree, Robert. And in alignment with that, I mean, you and I have studied under The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles, and all these books. And Wallace D. Wattles makes an interesting point. He says, there are no original ideas. So we are not unique. There are other people out there that feel the same way, and they want to be part of a family or a community where they are treated with respect and dignity, and they can actually use their skills and their talents to serve people. And this is an exciting time in my life. I turned 45 a few days ago, and I can't believe that this is the best birthday I've ever had, because now I'm no longer a caged tiger. Now I'm out and I'm able to be powerful. I can be engaging. I can serve others. And I'm really happy that we're able to reconnect and join forces. This is amazing.
Yeah, you and I already know the synergy of that already. And, I mean, you know, talking to you is like I didn't sleep at all last night, and you know, I jump on a hangout with you and Callie, and you know, I'm buzzing, man. It's more than a couple of cups of coffee. It's so cool. And then all of a sudden
I'm having some wine, you know, as I'm talking to you, right? You gotta have fun, right?
Yeah, and me and Anil all of a sudden talked about, you know, just the whole thought of us doing what is called social entrepreneurship.
Yes.
You know, even though Anil and I have trained and worked in the MLM field, you know, the network marketing field, and we're both basically looked at, without a shadow of a doubt, as being in the top 1%, if not the 0.5% of
Yes.
the producers that have done this. You know, the whole thing, again, is social entrepreneurship, you know, going toward the new trends. I was sharing with Anil, what's hilarious is you look at Amazon, and Amazon did $90 billion last year. Well, do you realize that if you took almost, I think it would be 80% of all the network marketing companies on the planet, Amazon out-earned them by doing something called affiliate marketing.
Correct.
And the only difference between affiliate marketing and network marketing is you allow people to come in for free, learn for free, and teach them how to market for free, and they get paid without having to pay something.
Correct.
And I just know, because of the Facebooks, the you know, the Googles, the YouTubes, we're doing this on a Google Plus for free. When I get done, it's going to be downloaded on YouTube for free. I'm going to send it to Anil free, and he's going to put it on his blog for free, you know, and his YouTube for free. And so there's this generation of a higher level of awareness and thought that you can help millions of people, if not billions of people, and make more money than you ever dreamed about.
I agree. And you know what's interesting too, Robert, is, and I appreciate you reminding me, because even though I'm a professional in the field, I'm still always sharpening my axe. You know, like how Abraham Lincoln says, you sharpen your axe before you cut the tree down.
Right.
And I have done belly to belly. I have slept in my car. I have slept in hotels. I have gotten on airplanes. Within an hour phone call, I've hopped on an airplane with my bag, and I was gone for 6 months to go pop a leader in a city. And I'm so happy now that I can use stuff like Google Hangouts and some of the wonderful tools you have provided to your membership, where I can talk to my buddy in Australia. I can talk to my family in Trinidad. I can talk to my best friend in England, and still, without even being belly button to belly button, still be engaging and still be powerful and help them. And that's that. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's like it opens up, and that was another reason too for me really putting the concept of unlimited profits together, because if we don't market a product, we then don't have to worry about getting it approved in that country. We don't have to worry about shipping and fulfillment in that country. We don't have to worry about all these things that prohibits maybe an extremely successful, good company with good ethics, good morals, to expand as fast as they want to. You know, when you look at Facebook and you see how fast it grew, everyone can fill out a free profile. So it really allows people to do well. The other thing that excites me is probably some people that know Anil, and you got to get to look at his other training. Make sure you sign up for his blog, and he's going to start doing a lot of training, and I can't wait you guys to hear all the wisdom that he's built over the years. And one of the things is I know right now that the #1 goal of the wealthiest people on the planet, the guys from Google, the guys from Facebook, Microsoft, Warren Buffett, is they got 125 billionaires now that are in the Billionaire Club. And each one of these people have signed a piece of paper to basically give away over half of everything they earn. And the #1 agenda that I heard from an interview with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett about this conference is the #1 thing is getting internet access to everyone, everywhere. Because think about how cool the education is to walk up to a kid or someone that's never been on the internet and hand them something where they can immediately look at it and click on a button and learn from Anil. Everywhere in the world. And
it's interesting, Robert. I just had a friend who came back from a tour of Africa, and he went to Uganda, which is probably considered one of the poorest countries in the world, or parts of Africa. And he said people had no shoes, but they had 2 cell phones.
I know that, and for people that know your background, I know that you've been home a couple of times since I've known you. But Trinidad is not a really wealthy place that a lot of people are hanging out.
Correct, and I want to be able to impact those people there with what we're creating and what I've created over the years, because I made a promise to myself a long time ago, Robert, and I don't think I've ever shared this with you, and I'm sharing it live now to the world. I'm from a very poor background. I grew up on hand-me-down clothes. I had nothing new when I was a young person. And so I made a promise at a very young age that I was going to end the broke gene in my family. I was going to end that for generations to come. The buck stops here. And that's why it wells up so much passion in me talking about this, because I've wanted the platform of network marketing to be the vehicle to give me that. And so it's been a struggle of mine for years, because I've gotten to the top of a few companies, because you've been there with me, we've been on the stage together, where all I've wanted was to take care of my family for generations to come, was to leave an inheritance. And that was something that kept being taken away from me, taken away from me. And so it's really refreshing to know that I can be back on my mission now to end that promise, or end that gene that's existed in my family, the broke gene.
Yeah.
So no longer, from this point on, will the Ramturiers have to worry about money, have to worry about putting food on the table.
I'm gonna help you make that happen, Anil. That's my deal. My deal's always been is I grew up in adopted foster homes, because I lost, basically got taken away from my parents when I was 13. So when you come from a struggle, you want to help those that struggle the same way as you.
Yeah. And you and I know, we've seen it. We've seen people join companies, they put their life on hold, they put their families on hold, they've emptied their bank accounts, and as they went through the comp plan and so forth, they learned things that they didn't like, and it was too late. They were stuck. They were stuck on an auto ship. They were stuck staying in the system, because if they didn't leave, their brother-in-law would fall out of qualification. Like, you've been there, where people didn't want to be part of gigs, right?
Yeah.
And now we can change that whole DNA. We can change that whole DNA right now.
I don't know why the concept, and again, we know, because you and I are studies of human character. We're studies of human interaction.
Right.
And just because things were always a way that they were, doesn't mean that that's the way they have to continue to be.
Correct.
So even in the profession that you and I have made millions and millions of dollars in, the whole concept is, and we hear these stupid phrases. I want you to just speak to this. Is we hear the stupid phrase, and here's the phrase. If people don't invest money, then they don't have anything to lose. So you got to make sure to get them on that big, $500 or $1,000 package, because then they'll treat this like a real business. Speak to that, because there was times when you and I didn't have a dime to our name, and it didn't stop us.
No, because you and I know, all we needed to do was make sure our dream was very clear, and we had the passion and the work ethic. Bottom line, like, you and I have been dropped into cities and dropped into countries where no one heard anything about what we're doing. We built massive organizations. I remember going to one city, and I only knew one person. When I left, there was 7,000 people in my team. So what you just said makes no sense. When people speak like that, it's just a way to confuse the masses and to get people trapped so that they don't know any better. So that's why I'm happy we can change that paradigm shift. We can change that DNA, as I call it.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. And one of the things is, for people that don't know this, you'll learn this about Anil, is, the guy's been on, DVDs that are like big DVDs that have been all over the world. And, so Anil has really gone out there and done some incredible things. And one of the other things that I thought that would be cool to talk about too is, again, I constantly had a billionaire that beat me up over this question. And it was like, how do you know that? And one of the things, if you're watching this and you got, supposedly people that are looking out for your best interest, telling you that multiple streams of income, or don't get distracted, or don't get taught by other experts that are already made money in other companies. You know, I see you laughing, Anil. It's like, it's hilarious. You know, and I was just the opposite. So, you know, I would find the best mentors on the planet, and I would get my people in front of them. They would be performers, and I would make money, and they would make money. Yes. So when people are out there and telling people, you know, don't get unfocused, don't do stuff, do you think they're really looking out for their company or their organization? Are there people? So, you know, say something about that, Anil.
Because I have a term for it. It's called scare tactics. It's bullying people, because you and I know, Robert, and this is not to put anyone down who's listening to this video or watching this interview. Most of society need to be told what to do. Okay, hence why we have a government and we have a school system. So the government or the organizations out there, they don't want free thinkers. They hate people like us, because when they say something, we go, really? How do you know that? Really? I'm not going to follow that. Really? You want me to do that? No, I'm not going to do that. And it's not that we want to be troublemakers, or we don't want to stir the hornet's nest, as I call it. But the truth is, these people want us to perform based on their rules, not what we want to do, or treating people. Because I live by the philosophy, and Robert, I know you're going to agree with this, we were designed for success, however, we've been programmed for failure. So the system out there is not designed for the average person like us, you've been a foster child since 13, I grew up poor. It's not designed for us to be successful. Right. And so we have these people who are coming along who I call lottery winners. They became superstars overnight because they put a bunch of people in the downline and got a pin. Come on. You and I know that the real people out there who genuinely care about others, like you and I, and there's lots of people watching these videos that this resonates with, we want to be part of something where the average person can win and they're not stuck. Yeah. They're not stuck and go, you know what, I can't help it, I got to stick with this company. Because I just put all my family savings into this, and my wife's going to leave me.
You and I were talking about this because it's funny, the older I get, I've been involved in this profession for 26 years. It's now going to be half my life. You know, next couple of weeks, it's going to be my birthday too. I knew that our birthdays were close because we've celebrated our birthdays, you know, sometimes on the same day.
We have.
And one of the things that really blows me away is when you come to the, you know, me and Anil, not only Science of Getting Rich, but you shift from that thinking of creativity instead of being competitive.
Yes.
And you know, so hanging around people like Bob Proctor and watching The Secret and the DVD that Anil was part of, what was that, the most powerful people on the planet? What was that DVD?
It was The Art of Business in the 21st Century.
Okay.
And I was Bob Proctor, Vic Johnson, a whole bunch of cool people. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, so that was a spin-off of The Secret, and Anil, my dear friend, was on that DVD. And one of the things that's really amazing is that one day you wake up and realize that things are not the way you thought they are. I tell people that, you know, my best phrase to this day, and Max Miller told me, the guy that helped me write my book, he told me that he's going to find a way to get that out there, where that was basically my quote, because we can't find it anywhere. And the quote is, if what you know isn't true, when would you like to know?
Exactly.
And it's that whole concept that, you know, where people are looking at you, and if they say to you, well, listen, you know what, you know, this is the way it is. Is it really? Is it really that way? And let me give you one that really irritates me. You and I have almost numbers of times didn't want to do MLM anymore, because we just felt that lid smacking us on the head. I mean, it hurts after a while. You keep jumping up, and it hits on your head. You just stop jumping. And one of the concepts is why does there have to be like this unbelievable triathlon, you know, bunch of things that you have to go through to make a full-time income? It's like, you know, so, you know, hey, listen, all you need is 200 customers and 3 separate legs under 5 people. Like, how hard can that be?
Yeah, and when we did it, we had to get customers, not points. So I think we understand what we're talking about.
And I tell people, when you look at people like me and Anil, we wanted it so bad that we did it anyway.
Because we didn't know any better.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you look at, your group and you start realizing, maybe we're just this much above average. I'm serious. And you see the rest of the people not being able to get to that place where they get enough results where they believe they can go to the next level.
Yes.
And I'll give you a perfect example of just something little I did with Unlimited Profits. Is I thought, man, every company I've been in, Anil, they had this position. It was called Diamond.
Right.
Oh my God, if you were a diamond. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to make it so if people get 3 people the same thing they came in with, they're a diamond. Yes. And now the whole world is looking at us and go, man, that company's breaking diamonds like crazy. All I'm asking them to do is if the average is 2.3 and they go this much above average, which is 3, then give them some praise and recognition. Give them a raise, which we do, And my deal is, man, I want to empower millions of people. And people go, well, why would you give all your compensation away? Because my goal is probably to make maybe $2 off 1 million people a month.
Yeah, I remember the saying, you got to cater to the masses to dine with the classes.
Yeah, so everybody says that, they just don't do it because they're still cutting the ends off the ham. I think I heard that story from you. I don't remember where I heard that.
But the oven, yes. Yeah. Well, go ahead. Yeah.
No. It was like, well, I'll tell it quick because I just think it's such a great story. And it's all about, Thanksgiving. Even Canada has Thanksgiving. And it's a good time to get around with each other, right?
Right.
And so the little girl's watching her mom, and she's about ready to put the ham in the oven, and she cuts the ends off.
Yes.
She goes, Mom, why do you do that? She goes, I don't know. Grandma taught me. So she was in the kitchen too, and she said, Grandma, why do you do it? And she goes, I don't know. Great-grandma taught us. Well, where is she? She's in the living room watching football. So she goes into there and says, Great-grandma, why did you cut the ends off the hams? And she said, well, honey, we were really poor, and I had a very small oven, so I had to cut the ends off so I could get it in. And the moral of the story is here it's being taught to a 4th generation, and no one knows why the ends are being cut off the ham.
Yes. And that scares me, Robert, because we talked about that. How many things today in network marketing or business do people do without even questioning it?
Yeah.
And I have a term for it, and I don't want anybody taking this. I call it like sheep to the slaughter.
Yeah.
You're actually going through this little corral, and then there's the abattoir waiting to. So, ladies and gentlemen, do we want to be sheep led to a slaughter, or do we want to do the right thing, right?
Yeah. And the other thing is, you and I talked about before we got on here. So, it's funny that leadership, just like the cut the ends off the ham, are still doing things that they were taught years ago. That if you ask them, they're teaching it from the stages, Anil. And if you ask them when is the last time they just did what they just shared with you, they don't do it. The top 1% of the leadership does not do what they're teaching from stage. So, frustrating. Anil, talk to them.
No, seriously,
pick them up, Anil.
Robert, I mean, you're preaching to the choir because I talk to people all the time. No, I don't want to write a list. No, I don't want to do a whole meeting. No, I'm not going to put a suit on. Well, case in point. No. No, I don't want to get on an airplane. No, I don't want to go and sit in a convention. And these people, they want to be successful. They want to be in something they can believe in. They're not saying no, they don't want to make money and create wealth and take care of their family. They're just saying, I'm not having fun. Count me out. Count me out. And you know what? I keep hearing about this thing called social media. When is someone going to teach me how to use Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn proper, where I don't have to leave my family or get dressed or get in traffic? And for some of us in Toronto, blizzard, minus 20 degrees Celsius. So, Robert, this is really cool because all around the planet right now, with such things as Google Hangouts and such things, we can empower people without even going anywhere.
Anywhere.
And I don't, you know what, I love you, Robert, but I don't really want your belly button touching my belly button.
Oh, what a great statement. I wish I would have thought of that.
Yeah, like I love you, and you know, there's...
Yeah. It was funny because I posted a picture recently where a lot of people got, it was very controversial, but, you know, with Google Hangouts, you can have up to 10 people along the bottom answering questions, right? And so that day, you know, was one of those days where I was just busy and I didn't even take a shower, and people asked me if I wanted to do a Hangout, so, you know, I threw on my hat, and I'm doing this Google Hangout, and I put on the caption of it, and I, you know, copied it from my screen and put it on Facebook. And I said, wow, isn't this a real home meeting? Everyone's in their home.
Yes. Cool.
And so 10 people across. So right now we're doing this interview for you guys, sharing some thoughts and excitement about working with each other. And guess what? Anil's at home relaxing with a glass of wine. I'm sitting here in Montana. I did take a shower. And you know, and it's like, so Anil, you know, so not to make our interview too long,
yes,
but let's just say that someone stumbles across this video.
Yes.
And you know, they want a few choice words from you about what you think is the most important things they should do first. They're struggling. They hear where we're coming from. Maybe they, you know, tried this, you know, network marketing profession that you and I know and love. We just don't know and love a lot of owners. And they're struggling and they just don't know what to do. What would you tell them to do?
Well, one lesson I've learned in life is a drowning man cannot save a drowning man. Because I'm from the Caribbean. If you go to save someone who's drowning, when they're struggling, they pull you under and you end up drowning. There's been many cases where the drowning person survived and the rescuer drowned.
Wow.
So one of the best tips I can give everyone watching this video is stop drowning. If you can't swim and you're going under and you can't breathe and you can't get oxygen, stop. And plug into systems like what Mr. Robert Hollis has said in Motion, because his system is so powerful. Anyone coming off the street who has heard of network marketing, who wants to become an entrepreneur and business person, just by applying a few simple rules, a few simple daily habits, you can make above average income. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the best tip I can give you, because you're going to be hearing a lot from me, because I'm really excited to be like that lion or that tiger out of the cage now, is stop drowning. Grab the life preserver that Mr. Hollis is tossing you, or I'm tossing you with Anil Now, with our system. Grab it and let us pull you to shore, because I'll tell you something right now. We're not jumping in the water with you because we're going to drown. So we have to stay on land, we have to stay safe so we can rescue you. So you have two choices. Either you keep drowning and drown, or grab that life preserver. So whatever Mr. Hollis is giving you, it's free. Hello, if you can get free, you need to check up from the neck up. I'm sorry. If you don't get free, you need to go look up free in Webster's and see what free means and really, really understand the power of free. Grab his free training because it doesn't cost you anything. Here's what's going to cost you. You taking time to get on the trainings, so put it in your calendar. Take some action, apply one or two things from every training, and 3, pay it forward. Share it with the world.
Wow.
Share it with the world.
Well, Anil, your wisdom, I'm so glad to be partnering with you to help millions of people. I know we're going to
backed up, bro.
Well, we're ready, and
it's like ebony and ivory. It's like
yeah, there's no doubt, because you and I worked in the past to help people, and for anyone that's watching this video right now, I know we're going to post it on, you know, mine and his, because we didn't want, I mean, we're peers, we're equals. We both love each other, our families love each other. So this was like a joint of us just rapping, and I'm sure we're going to do a bunch of, much more like this. But, you know, just anywhere around this video, look for Anil's site. It's AnilNOW.com. You know, there you can see his videos. He's going to start posting like crazy.
Or Facebook. Go on my Facebook.
Yeah. And what's your Facebook?
Anil Rancherito, or Anil Now is my Facebook. Anil Now, N-O-W. My AnilNOW.com is down right now because I'm revamping it and I have to put some videos because of our partnership. So it's down. But Facebook is the best. Anil Now Facebook as well.
And for those of you that are really involved with my following, just click on my friends, and there's always a place where you can search, and there's not too many people that are Anil. He's a very unique individual. God created him spectacular and great, and I'm blessed to have him as a partner and a friend. So somewhere around here, there's a link, and reach out to us. And I just want to end by saying this. Is Anil was really just looking at our company, and it's funny, he goes diamond, double diamond, and he's like, well, listen, what are we doing? And it's so, he's the kind of individual that can hit his top positions in the company, and now he's like gonna get serious with us and link together, and so that's great. So for those of you,
in conclusion, why don't we set a little goal for everybody listening in? Why don't we
close out the show?
Yes, why don't we set a goal, everybody? Let's show appreciation to Mr. Robert Hollis and his family and his team for what they've set in motion. Why don't we set a goal by the first quarter of 2015, we have 250,000 members in Unlimited Profit.
Woo!
250,000 members. So why don't we get to work and make that happen? And right now I want everybody watching this to start writing names down of who do you know, who do you know, who do you know, who do you know, and here's the thought. Who do you want to bless? Who do you want looking at this? Because somewhere on the planet, sitting in their living room, they want to be successful in their business or network marketing company, and it's not happening. So by the first quarter, so Robert, we're going to hold each other accountable to that.
Good.
250,000 people are part of Unlimited Profits because, of course, what happens with you is going to bless Anil Now. So it's all good.
Anil, thank you very much for having me on your first. For one of your first interviews. I appreciate you. I love you like a brother. And
I can't wait to be on stage with you, Robert.
Yeah, it's going to happen before the end of April.
Okay, rock on.
All right, God bless. Have a good day.
Let's pound it. Okay, bye, everyone. Thanks, Robert.
You bet.